Good afternoon, ma'am. We're here to present about semiotic and rhetoric analysis po. Ma'am, audible ba ako dyan? Or lakasan ko pa?
Yes. Yeah. Hindi, okay na.
Okay po.
Okay, pahuli kayo dyan sa Burger King.
Hindi, nasa labas naman kami momo ko.
Sige.
So, starting off, what is a sign? Sign is the things that we see every day in our lives, the things that we judge sa mga nakikita natin, road signs, stoplights, things like that. So, what is semiotics? Semiotics is the study of signs. Bakit mahalagang pag-aralan natin yung semiotics? Kasi we use semiotics to analyze and understand how meaning is generated sa print advertisement, sa television, sa radio commercials, pwede din siya sa photographs and sa films. Kaya mahalaga siyang pag-aralan. Sabi, one quote na sinabi nga doon, media is full of sign, both visual and acoustics. So, bago tayo lumalim dun sa what is semiotics in its study, pupunta muna po tayo dun sa background, yung mga proponent ng study ng semiotics po, which is Ferdinand de Saussure and Charles Sanders Peirce, which will be reported po ni Earl. Ay ma'am, Malanong po pala ako. Ako si Malanong. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, sorry.
Hi, ma'am.
Yeah.
Alright. So first is Ferdinand de Saussure. So yung basic information about Ferdinand de Saussure.
Earl, nagka-cut ka.
Ay, hindi naghahango. Iba yung pinipindot ko sa iba siya nag...
Ina ng boses.
Okay. So,
Yeah, kasi kanina clear si John. Medyo nagka-cut ka.
check. Okay na po.
Yan. Okay, yan.
Alright, so first is Ferdinand de Saussure. So yung basic information of Mr. Ferdinand de Saussure is he's a Swiss linguist, meaning he dwelled into studying languages, and a founder of semiology, which is the study of science, as said by JP earlier, and also a father of modern English. So si Mr. Ferdinand de Saussure, he's known for nag-coin ng term, which is the division of science. So he introduced it to the people in his study, and the division of science are the signifier and the signified. So ano ba yung signifier and yung signified? First is the signifier, the physical existence or something you can sense. Ito yung nahawakan natin, it is tangible, or the physical embodiment of the object that represents the signified. The signifier is something that we can see, or basically yung nakukuha ng five senses natin, which is pwede natin siya maamoy, marinig, makita, matouch, and everything. The signified is the mental concept. It is a mental construction, meaning we cannot touch it. Ito yung concept na nabubuo sa mind natin na ini-embody naman ng signified. So again, the signified is the physical embodiment. It is the physical being of the object, and yung pagkaka-describe nito physically, yun yung nagiging mental concept natin, yung signified. An example of it is so signifier is the sound and the image in the word. Signified is the concept that represents it. We have an example here which is very common to us nowadays, which is the smartphone. So yung physical embodiment ng smartphone, which is it is rectangular, meron siyang light, it produces sound when we play music, yung words in it, text that we read sa social media. Ito yung physical na alam natin sa smartphone. Pag may nakita tayo na rectangular shape na nilabas sa pocket ng isang tao, tumutunog and something like that, we know that it is a phone. But the concept of it, it's that it is the device that connects us, or lalo na ngayon sa pag-socialize ng mga kabataan. Next is an apple. So as we can see, an apple is a circular object, medyo circular siya, it's red. Yung amoy niya, it actually smells good for me, and yun yung nag-signify, yung signifier. Ang signified, which is ang meaning sa atin ng apple, is that it is a healthy fruit, it is good for us, Also, may connotation din siya which will go on later. Ang connotation ng Apple sa atin is it's actually related to professors na pag may apple sa desk, we see in movies, we see in series or TV programs na it signifies na ito yung medyo parang signature ng mga professor. So classification of science, I'm just gonna call on JP Malano to explain this. Thank you, ma'am.
Let's proceed naman po ma'am sa classification of signs, which is yung tatlo, yung index, the icon, and the symbols. Ayan. When we say index, ito yung, it signifies cause and effect. Just for example, kapag nakakita tayo ng smoke, it simply means merong apoy dun sa area na yon. Or another example is yung sa the no smoking sign. Wala siyang ibang meaning na gustong ipadala except only is na that area is a no smoking area. Kung ano yung meaning, yun yung ipinapakita niya sa yun ang index. Symbol is there's no logical meaning between it and the object. Ito yung example nila dito is the stoplight. Sa stoplight, these are colors, the red, orange, and green. They're supposed to be just colors, but here sa society natin, when we see these colors, especially sa stoplight, it gives us shared meaning. Na ang red ay meaning is stop, orange is ready, and green is for sabihin ng go. Then next is yung icon. Icon is a sign that resembles something such as a photograph of people. Another examples is yung icons natin such as sa Facebook, Instagram, sa Twitter. Ayun. Yes. Next po is yung the study of signs and symbols ni Charles Sanders Peirce.
Hi ma'am, good afternoon. I'm gonna discuss about another founder of Semiotics. It's Charles Sanders Peirce. Let me just start with his one of his quotation. He says that nothing is a sign unless it is interpreted as a sign. So let's just make some background about him. The history of Charles Sanders Peirce. He's the founder of Semiotics and the study of signs, which is the study of signs and how semiotics will be used. He is an American pragmatist. When you say pragmatist, it is a person who is oriented towards the success or failure of a particular line of action. It's like a practical person. Now, it's like the other one who takes the realistic approach. So, the difference between him and Saussure is that Saussure is like more on the study, just the study, whilst Peirce is the study with an application. Let's go to the components of the sign. While Ferdinand de Saussure introduces the signifier and signified, Charles Sanders Peirce introduced the components of the sign, which is the triadic model. This is the representamen, object, and then the interpretant. Now, let me just define what are those. First is the object. It is to which the sign refers to. Now, it is actually what the sign represents. Second is the interpretant, which is the sense made of the sign, or the idea, the thought of the object. Representamen is the form which the sign takes and not material itself. It is not necessarily material when you say representamen, but it's just the thing that represents another thing. Let me just give a set of examples. Here we have a car. Interpretant, when you say car, it comes to our mind that it is a mode of transportation. It's the car. When you say object, That's the, in this case, this is the physical object, the vehicle itself. On the other hand, the representamen is the word here on this part. I have another example, but it's not part of the slide. But it is the traffic light stop sign. It consists of the representamen. First is the red light in the intersection. When you see it, there's a red light. It's stop. The object is when the vehicles are halting or stopping on the intersection. The interpretant is the idea that the red light indicates that the vehicles must stop when they see that kind of sign. That's the components of what Pierce introduced about the triadic model. Now let's go ahead to another founder or another semiotician, which is going to be discussed also by JP. Thank you, ma'am.
We included Bart sa report namin since he is also included sa magiging thesis analysis namin later on. Roland Barthes is born in November 12, 1915, one of the earliest structuralists ng culture. He is also one of the leading theorists ng semiotics. One main contribution ni Barthes is yung the avoidance of confusion of culture and the nature, yung denotation and connotation. So what are these? Denotation refers to the literal meaning of the object, of the term or the object. However, connotation deals with the cultural meaning that became an attribute to that term. For this example, this term that she's my baby, the denotation meaning of it, the literal meaning of it is apparent to a child. Like, she's my baby, anak niya yon, she's my baby. While the connotation meaning, the shared meaning, the cultural meaning today ng she's my relationship, baby as the guy, yung girl, yun yung baby niya. Another example is yung the word commitment. The denotation meaning of the word commitment is a pledge to do. Ito yung dapat natin gawin when we say commitment. The connotation meaning of commitment is the emotional connection to another person. Meron tayong relationship sa tao, di ba? Ayun po. So, denotation meaning is literal and it can be inferred as signifier. Evident din siya and it describes. However, connotation, it is figurative, it is signified, it is inferred, and it just suggests meaning. Ganon. Next po is its strength and weaknesses po. Report ni Earl.
Alright, so for semiotics analysis, we came up with the strengths and weaknesses for it. First is, ang strength po ng semiotic is, it is a guideline to things. Like for example, since colors are also a representation of things, so it guides us. Like for example, the color white, which represents purity or something that is pure. So pag kunyari pupunta ka sa isang place, for example a wedding, you look for a group of people that wears white, or you will look for a place that is decorated with white, or kung ano mang motif yung place. Next is, ang weakness po ng semiotic is that language and science are complicated, lalo na culturally, because since language is complicated, may iba-iba tayong connotation with words and with languages. Like for example, yung sinabi nga ni JP na she's my baby. So it can be a very modest thing, like a daughter to a father to a daughter, or it can be a flirtatious thing. So ayun na, interpretation may differ. Results cannot be generalized because semiotics is subjective. May kanya-kanya tayong interpretation of things, even of sounds or of colors. And semiotic analysis provides. Alright, so ito pa yung last slide for strengths and weaknesses. Again, it gives and helps the reader to go beyond what manifests in the content of the text. So, like for songs, the lyrics are there, pero minsan may nakukuha tayong more from it. Meron siyang deeper meaning. Like for example, the song Imagine by John Lennon. Imagine there's no heaven, imagine there's no country. The singer or the writer is simply telling us to holy, or the wholeness of the song. It suggests that maybe we are one as people. Things like that. Again, sign and system can change over time. There can be confusion depending on society or culture dahil nga ang language and ang colors and ang signs magkakaiba. So, pwedeng magkaroon ng confusion in terms of interpretation or comprehension of the text or of the image or of the video clip. So yun, next po namin ma'am is rhetoric analysis. Rhetoric analysis will be introduced by Michael. Carry on. Carry on.
Yes.
Hi, Kevin Charles Prado pala.
Hello, ma'am. Kevin Charles Prado here.
So far,
Hello. Check, ma'am. Check.
Yeah, yeah, clear.
Ma'am.
Yes.
The other topic or analysis that we're going to discuss is rhetorical analysis. Rhetorical analysis used to be confined to speeches and written materials, but with the explosive development of the mass media, rhetorical analysis is now also being used for interpretation of works such as radio, television, and film. The scope of rhetoric today, on the prospect of rhetoric today, was written by Wayne Booth. He is a well-known critic from the University of Chicago. Minention niya dito ma'am yung mga ibang films like The Midnight Cowboy and Easy Rider na walang speech or even oratory, na imposible daw itong maging non-rhetorical or walang impact sa audience kasi kahit wala siyang dialogue, kahit wala siyang text, meron pa rin siyang message or meaning na binibigay, katulad ng pagpapaliwanag po ni Aristotle sa rhetoric. Okay, this is for John Michael Carrion.
Hello, ma'am. Wayne Booth said that if hindi ko na po babasahin yan, if all good art has no rhetorical dimension, and yan, ang gist lang po niyang sinabi niya is, dapat marunong tayong or meron pong rhetorician or rhetor na mag-validate and kahit pa paano mag-investigate ng mga media content para po mabigyan ito ng magandang purpose, hindi lang po hindi po dapat ito magamit sa mga devil's purposes na dapat po meron pong mag-validate or mag-investigate kung ano ba yung tama or mali sa isang movie, sa film, sa TV, sa iba't ibang media po. Next. Aristotle and rhetoric will be discussed by Kevin Charles Prado again.
Hello. Sabi po ni Aristotle na yung rhetoric daw po, ginagamit natin yung mga bagay na nag-i-exist na upang makapag-persuade sa iba. Yun po yung mga given case. Bawa, example lang. Ano ba yung example ko kanina? Yun nga po, kung ano yung nag-i-exist na, kumbaga i-enhance lang nito kung paano tayo mag-persuade sa isang tao or sa audience natin. Ethos, pathos, logos was wait.
These are the modes of persuasion made by Aristotle. Yung ethos po, yun po yung credibility. For instance na lang, yung doctor, he has a credibility. A doctor advertising a medicine, for example, he has a credibility because to advertise such medicine, because he is a doctor, obviously. He steers the emotion of his audience by telling them the seriousness of the disease that may cause them to die. And lastly, the logical argument would be he will suggest to the doctor will suggest that the medicine may help them to improve their lives. Thank you.
Wait. So, clear na po ba yung ethos, pathos, logos?
Yeah.
Okay, so next is the, oh my gosh, 5 canons of rhetoric. Michael, 5 canons of rhetoric. Di po pala ako i-discuss.
Okay, 5 canons of rhetoric. Inventio, inventio, or invention. The process of creating and refining your arguments. Dito po sa invention, pinapakita yung kung paano po magagather ng data, kung paano magbibigay or kung paano kumalap ng mga facts, information para sa arguments mo, para mas maging matibay siya.
Kumbaga sa research.
Ayun. Dispositio or dispositio, arrangement, the process of arranging and organizing your thoughts. Dito po, syempre nakakalap ka na ng data, ng information and all. Syempre, para mas maging matibay yung pagbibigay mo ng persuasion sa tao, kailangan mong i-arrange yung mga information para mas maging effective siya sa mas maging effective yung persuasion na gagawin mo. Next was elocution or style, the process of determining how you present your arguments. Dito po, syempre na-arrange mo na lahat and meron ka ng facts. Dito na papasok yung yung style mo kung paano mo i-deliver or yung style kung sa tingin mo kung paano mo siya ibibigay sa tao. Next, memoria o memory. Dito po sa memoria or memory, ito po yung process kung saan hindi mo lang siya word by word mini-memorize pero nag-iisip ka ng mga sa tingin mong quotable quotes and yung solid na information, mini-memorize mo siya para kung sakaling kailangan mo siya, makakapagbigay ka ng isang powerful na quote para maibigay sa tao. And next and the last was action or delivery. Yon, meron ka ng quotes, meron ka ng arrangement, meron ka ng style. Dito mo na lang ibibigay sa tao. Ito na kung paano mo ilalagay or ipapasok sa tao kung ano yung thoughts and yung mga nakalap mong data para mas persuade mo sila. Yun po, ma'am. Next. Rhetoric and the Mass Media by Panere.
Okay po, so rhetoric and mass media, of course, dahil nga tungkol siya sa ang rhetoric is defined as the art of persuasion. Of course, present siya sa media kasi yun yung main goal ng media, ng mass communication. Tapos, whether you're aware or not, rhetoric surrounds us everywhere. It helps us decide on things. It gives us insights and it persuades us based from political campaigns, advertisements, things like those you see on TV, things you read. Those are part of rhetoric. So Medhurst and Benson made a list of what do you call this? Made a list. They pointed out na ang Greeks and Romans, they considered it very important kasi yun yung naging way para mag-coexist yung men and women in the society. Without rhetoric, walang revolution, walang discussion ng mga inequalities, mga ganun po. So ito, intentional persuasion, whether you read or you see, it's always intentional, it's always present. Social values and effects of symbolic forms found in text. If you read something, for example, from the news in the Philippines, see the culture in a news, in editorials, it can be seen there. Techniques by which the arts communicates to audiences. The writing, through persuasion, sa TV ads, things like those po. Persuasion techniques used by characters in dramatic or narrative works. Of course, we have the teleseries, and we have the commercials. They are being used in rhetoric. Study of genres or types of text, its implied meaning. An ideal for the conduct of communication. These are what we call this, implied meanings na po. Hindi na kailangan explain. Theories of communication. Sure na.
Tiers of communication. So, ang mangyari lang naman dyan is brief background ng tiers of communication para kahit paano magkaroon po ng flashback sa utak natin yung tiers of communication. Si Laswell, si Berger, and Jacobson nagkaroon po ng iba't ibang terminologies pero pare-pareho sila ng mismong patutunguhan. Bakit ba natin dinidiscuss ang theories of communication? Para malaman natin kung ano ba yung patutunguhan at kung ano yung mga pinanggalingan ng isang communication content or ng isang message. And who, artist, and the sender, sila po yung, sila yung nagbibigay ng mismong content. As simple as that. Says what, artwork, text, message, yun na po yung mismo tao. In which channel, medium, and contact. Kailangan po to para malaman kung saan natin pinapadala yung mga message and content na gusto natin ibigay sa tao. To whom, audience, and syempre, meron ka ng medium, may tao ka na, and may message ka na, hindi naman pwedeng wala kang tao ang papatunguhan ng mismong message mo. And with what effect, kay Berger naman is America, and meaning para kay Jacobson. Yun na yung effects ng mismong, titingnan pa rin yun sa tiers of communication. Ano bang naging effect ng mismong message na binigay mo? Anong feedback ng tao? Anong na-feel ng tao sa message mo?
Si Robert L. Root naman, dinagdagan niya lang yung concept ni Aristotle na, di ba, ethos, pathos, logos. Nagdagdag siya ng aim and mode. Yung aim, the purpose of the discourse, and the mode is the medium used in the discourse. For example, TV, you use use television, things like those. And Umberto Eco, aberrant decoding, siya yung sinasabi niya na ito yung pwedeng maging problem sa rhetoric, na pwedeng mag-iba yung meaning na halimbawa, ang sinulat ng writer is to invoke something else, pero ang nakuha ng audience is different from what the writer intended. Yes, that's what Umberto Eco thought about yung sa aberrant decoding. Okay, so common rhetorical devices, in passing na lang, allegory, siya yung okay, hindi na po.
Hindi, I mean, sige, pero feeling ko yung passing na lang siya.
Yes po. Yun nga, allegory, yun yung nag-refer sa isang historical something for Troy. Ganun po. Ibig sabihin, sobrang ganda niya kasi ano niya si King something. Kalimutan ko po yung King. Tapos yung alliteration, yun yung mga tongue twister, Peter Piper, picked a pack of peas. Yung contradiction, tapos definition, obviously, yung sa dictionary meaning. Irony, it's the opposite of what you really mean. Metaphor, two things that are not alike but there are similarities between them, pero you compare them. Metonymy naman, you use the whole. And rhyme, same, they end in the same sound. Rhythm, the beat of the message or the text. Simile, just like metaphor but with the use of like or as. And synecdoche, wait lang po.
Hindi ko talaga.
Wait lang po.
Oh, grabe, may net kayo dyan, no? Research na lang yung synecdoche.
Yung synecdoche, weaker form of metonymy. Ayun, pareho lang. Sabi ni pareho lang po sila. So, ito po yung strengths and weaknesses. Strengths po, looking for effects and implications, primarily focusing on how it is done, not okay with traditional and instead offers a keen observation. So, yun po. Kasi, since rhetoric siya, more on the result. Parang, mas specific, mas marami siyang details. Kasi nga, siya, parang more comprehensive kapag rhetoric. Tapos yung benefits din niya is that kapag, alam gumamit ka ng rhetorical analysis, mas matututo ka na i-identify yung mga, kung ginagamit na ba nila yung rhetoric, yung mga ethos, pathos, logos, yung manipulation ng isang advertisement. Tapos kung ikaw naman yung nasa other end, kung ikaw yung author na gumagamit, pwede mong gamitin yun na concept ng rhetoric to persuade people. Yun po yung strength niya.
Weaknesses has a tendency to be subjective. Syempre po, nakatuon kasi tayo dun sa mismong sa mismong speech, sa text, and yung nag-evaluate lang po nun is a certain person or mismong yung researcher na po mismo yung nagiging nag-evaluate na mismong content. Not holistic enough kasi nakatingin lang po siya doon sa mismong text, sa mga speech, and everything na nagbibigay ng communication sa isang content. Hindi po siya nakatingin mismo doon sa content mismo, sa mismong meanings doon sa content. Cannot be generalized. Pareho po ng semiotics na syempre, self-evaluation mo lang po yun or evaluation ng other people. Hindi mo po siya pwedeng ibigay na as ito po yung boses or ito yung pulso ng Pilipino. Ganun po. Next was thesis na po.
Share tayo.
Okay. Thesis. Dissecting the image of Elsa towards semiotic reading of the Philippine classic film Himala. Research problem.
So,
Wait,
yun po.
where did you get this thesis?
Yes,
Yes, ma'am.
Where did you get it?
it's a thesis of a
Malaysian.
professor from National University.
Malaysia.
Okay. Sino? Ano pangalan?
Jerry, wait lang po, andito. Jeffrey Rosario Ancheta.
Okay.
Yan po.
Research problem.
What are the other symbolic interpretations of Elsa's character in the movie Himala? Kasi po,
Sige.
'di ba, parang pag napanood po natin ang Himala, people usually see it as it is. Kung ano lang siya, as representation niya, faith healer, that's it. And this research, yun po yung gusto niyang i-tackle. Yung, ano yung symbolism ni Elsa sa movie. Kung ano po yung interpretation based from, ayun po, ito yung objectives.
Research objectives: to scrutinize the character of Elsa to present new interpretations of the film. Next, determine different images of the character through Roland Barthes' semiotic theory by answering how the film constructed the image of Elsa. Number 3, interpret Elsa's character through analysis of different elements in the film: other characters, cinematography, production. Instrument:
Yun po, ang instrument, yun medyo ano po siya, subjective po siya. Kaya ang ginawa niya po is kumuha siya ng yung DVD po ng Himala and then look for RRLs, journals, from journals, magazines, and books and other references.
Methodology: gathering of materials, film viewing in order to gather data and evidences. Hindi lang po siya plainly film viewing na isang beses lang pinanood. Many times or several times siya pinanood. Analyzing the material. Yun po, in-analyze po yung material by him. Next. Units of analysis.
Ma'am, lilipat lang po kasi low-bat na. Wait lang po.
Ayan tayo eh. I think mas klaro sa kanila paano ginagamit yung semiotic analysis, especially bawa kung magpo-parts ka, which is denotation and connotation. So, paano siya
Ayan po. Ang denotation po kasi is the literal meaning. Wala na siyang ibang from the dictionary siya. The definition from the dictionary. So, for example, you look for the word salvage. The meaning of the word salvage is save. Pero, here in the Philippines, salvage, the connotation of salvage means to kill.
It's a different meaning, yeah.
Yes, it has a different meaning. It is based from the culture of the place. So yun po, yung connotation niya is different. Another example would be, Sir Abbas told this to us, Filipino in Greece, Filipinos in Greece is maid or something like that. And then, of course, the dictionary meaning of Filipino is the people from the Philippines. So there.
Yeah, okay, so
Yes
that's
po.
good.
And
But
in
like I was-
relation, okay. In
Okay, in this
relation,
time.
okay po. When we watch Himala, we see it as plainly Elsa as the faith healer. Like that's the denotation of the thesis. So what Jeffrey is trying to achieve here is to
Ano pa yung mas in-depth?
in-depth analysis the connotation of the connotation of the
Faith healer.
faith healer and the actions that Elsa made in the movie, all the meanings, the symbolisms, the connotation of that here in the Philippines. Yun po yung ano niya, yung ginamit niya, yung semiotics department. Okay na.
okay, so yung ano yung denotation is the actual
Yes po. Yung faith healer nga po siya. Faith healer siya.
yeah. And then the denotation is paano siya in-analyze doon sa study nitong thesis na to?
Yung connotation na po.
Connotation.
Yung connotation niya po is that Elsa is a faith healer, pero she is comparable to a prostitute in the Philippines.
Ganun yung findings ng study? I
Yes
mean, ganun
po.
yung
Yes
analysis
po.
ng study?
Yes po, here.
Ito muna.
And also, parang Elsa was treated like a godlike figure because of the actions and the actions of the people. How they worshipped her in the film.
Hindi lang po pinakita na basta faith healer lang siya. Meron din po palang scenes sa mismong film na tinreat siya na isang godlike figure na kailangan siyang sambahin para syempre mapagaling po yung mga tao. Ganun po. Next, Elsa is a curse and the curse of Elsa. According to the film, ayun po, imbis na si Elsa po ay maging, syempre, nagkaroon na sila ng faith healer na nagpapagaling sa kanila. Pero ang curse niya po pala is nagkaroon, hindi lang siya yung, hindi pala siya blessing. Kasi mas marami pa palang mga naidulot na hindi maganda yung pagiging faith healer niya. Like nung mga ng iba.
Nagkaroon ng chaos po sa town nila dahil doon. So in relation naman po sa semiotics dito, sa ano tawag dito? Denotation sa connotation. Yung denotation po sa kanya is that Elsa wait lang po muna. Faith, di ba po faith healer si Elsa? So, ang dala niya is blessing. Yun po yung naging denotation ng tao. Tapos, ang connotation naman, parang baliktad. Wait lang. Ang connotation naman sa kanya is,
Denotation is the di ba? Literal meaning.
Opo.
And connotation is like
yung culture, depende sa
Oo.
culture. Ayun, gets ka na. Parang naging faith healer siya. Ang naging connotation niya is parang Virgin Mary siya. Virgin Mary siya, yun po. Kasi nga sa
Okay.
actions, ayun po. Tapos, eto na yung sinasabi po namin na ang findings niya, major findings na religious prostitute si Elsa. Kasi yung actions niya, yung mga ginagawa sa kanya, is the same as a whore po. Sorry for the term, pero yun po.
Same as prostitute, na hinahawakan, na kailangan. Siyempre, pag sa prostitute, hinahawakan siya ng lalaki para ma-please yung lalaki. Well, si Elsa is a religious prostitute. Yun po yung meaning sa kanya dahil hinahawakan siya ng tao para mas makagaling or magaling yung mga sakit nila.
Tapos, humahanap po, yung mga tao, pumupunta po sa kanya para makakahanap ng pleasure. Same with faith healers. Yung mga tao, pumupunta sa isang faith healer to get satisfaction. Like prostitute po, people go to them for satisfaction po. Yan po. Okay, so yung conclusion,
So, yung himala not only depicts Elsa as a woman in Gopang, but also strives to bring out the truth behind another truth. Yun. Ayun po ma'am, yung pinakita pa rin, ang conclusion niya pa rin na pinakita po si Elsa as a godlike figure, a curse, and a prostitute. Yun po yung naging conclusion niya na, yun yung conclusion niya sa semiotics analysis na naging godlike figure nga po na naging curse siya ng isang town and naging prostitute po ng isang lugar.
tapos diniscuss din po sa thesis yung reasons and causes. Dun po, ibabalik pa po ba namin? Yung nandito po, eto po yung mga scenes na pinapakita na ano po siya, na wino-worship siya.
Yan po yung evidence na.
Yan, dyan po yung analysis. And this one naman po, yung perception nga po ng characters towards Elsa's character. Tapos, eto din po, yung godlike, ginagawa nga po siyang godlike figure.
So yun po, evidences.
Can you gather everyone
Okay
na
po.
naririnig ako?
Nandito po kami.
Oo.
Yes, ma'am.
Nandito po kami lahat. Nasa likod lang po sila.
Sige.
Hello.
Okay. Kitang-kita. Wala akong nakikita. Sige. Okay. Just a few clarifications kasi hindi niya to na banggit, hindi na daanan sa study ninyo. Can you consider semiotics a quantitative or a qualitative analysis?
Qualitative. Qualitative.
Qualitative siya.
Ano po yun?
Bakit tingin ninyo qualitative siya?
Kasi,
Hindi ka, can you
narinig ko.
just not use the headset? Okay.
Qualitative deals with more yung lalim, more than the lawak of the study. We decided na quality obviously because we're going to the deeper meaning of the film. So,
In general.
But how did the thesis, nag-look up the thesis, di ba there are specific scenes? Tama ba?
Yes po.
Na tawag dito yung researcher, and it's in table format.
Pero, yung mga, ano po kasi, yung mga scenes na yun, it's not really, it doesn't mean a table po, hindi na siya parang deeper meaning. Kasi, ano po yun, symbols po yun eh.
It's just that analysis lang po yun, evidence lang po yun.
They just gathered in a orderly manner po. They just gathered the data, the evidences. Pero those are still symbols, which shows, which represents a different meaning. Yun po.
Okay, sige. How about rhetorical analysis? Is it quanti or quali? Or can it be both?
It can be.
Why do you think so?
Kasi po sa turo niyo po. It can be quali and
Can you
quanti.
compare eh?
Thank you, ma'am.
Ano po, dahil ang rhetoric po, it's
ayun lang, pwede ka rin tumingin in depth sa kanya, pwede mo tingnan yung lalim niya, at pwede mo rin tingnan yung breadth niya.
Yung lawak.
Yes, claims, like for example, rhetorics, main agenda is to persuade or to convince. Pwede nga ang approach is gano'n na apektuhan yung impact ng persuasion. O pwede rin gano'n karami yung na-convince na apektuhan.
So yun po. Pwede siyang quali, pwede siyang quali. Depende po sa problem.
Okay. Which also means na yung semiotics,
Okay. Sige ma'am.
Okay.
We change our mind. It can be quali, it can be quali.
yeah, kasi pag binalikan ninyo yung theory class ninyo, yung semiotics falls somewhere between the objective and the interpretive. Pwede siyang post-positivist, pwede rin siyang
Yes po.
rhetorical construct. Pwede nyo siyang gamitin either way. Rhetoric is also the same thing. Although, when you use rhetorical analysis in a quantitative manner, sometimes it borrows from content analysis, especially if you're studying the speech.
Yes po. Actually, the first thesis that we studied was a mix of content analysis and semiotics. To focus on semiotics talaga. Kasi baka
Yeah,
rin po malito.
Precisely, bakit siya nag-content? Kasi pwede siya talagang gamitin sa semiotics. Okay nga rin sana kung yun din yung kinuha nyo. Kasi most people think that semiotics is really just for quali. When in truth, sometimes you can actually use that for quantitative. So, I mean, that thesis might actually have been a better example than this one. Kasi medyo mas nag-wonder ako kung saan, although hindi ko alam kung na-discuss ba siya sa thesis at hindi nyo lang nabanggit, medyo nag-wonder lang ako saan nakugot nung researcher, yung mga interpretation niya na prostitute si Elsa. I mean, of course,
Metaphor.
she means it na religious prostitute. So, I mean, you know. Pero yun nga, so, I would have appreciated
Sa
na
RRLs
mas...
po, ma'am. From the RRLs. Related literature po. Yung mga inferences niya po, nakuha niya po from his RRLs.
Well, yeah, that's also fine. Kasi we're a methods class, meaning sana mas nakalutang nga yung methods kesa doon sa kasi yun nga, kaya nagtatanong ako paano in-apply yung denotation and connotation. Like, ang pag-apply ba niya ng connotation ay paano ba? Tinignan niya kung paano si Elsa, tapos ang pag-apply ba niya ng connotation ay faith healer, na denotation, tapos faith healer connotation. Parang ganon. So, I mean, I was just looking for those examples kasi that's really how you should be using it as a method. So, yun nga, I'm not sure if that was something that was outlined by the researcher of the thesis or yun nga, hindi lang na i-communicate ng mas klaro. So, yun lang ako nag-wonder. Okay. So, again, just to siguro do a wrap up, yung semiotics, hindi lang siya theory, but it's also a method. So, it's one of the things na pwede mong gamitin teorya, pero pwede mo rin gamitin method. But you can also use it for both quanti and quali. The same with rhetoric. Rhetoric is also a theory and a method. But, yun, again, at the same time, you can use it for both quanti and quali. Okay, so, yun. Especially if we are like doing the recording and your classmates will watch this, so mas better din kung nakiklear yung mga ganyang bagay para when you go to Compress 2 and Compress 3, mas alam gamitin ng estudyante. So, yun lang. Na hindi kayo sa Burger King kasi it really affected the whole level of presentation kasi hindi ko maintindihan ba't hindi nga kayo magkasya dyan sa frame. Kasi hindi ko kayo nakikita ng buo, and I wanted to have heard from the other people who did not. When I was asking the question, I would have wanted to hear from the other people to also, answer the questions based on their understanding. Pero yun nga, dahil gumagamit kasi ng headset so...
Ay, hindi, okay lang. Sige po, pwede ba sila ma'am sumagot? Tanong ako.
Ganon?
Hindi ma'am, for audio lang po, para naririnig kami. Ito po.
May audio recorder.
Yeah, hindi, yun nga. So anyway, yun yung concern. Kasi para sana rin, hindi mas komportable, hindi yung parang nag-adjust kayo dun sa place. Okay, but anyway, ayun. Sige, I think that's it. So, yun.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry po.
Burger
Okay.
Burger
Sige,
King pa mo.
Burger King kasi kayo Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Sige.